want more. Crying babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double, but nature gets the shit in the way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
All right, y'all. A lot has developed in the last days, weeks. You know, this is just like a free-for-all smorgasbord for Donald Trump and the pedophile circus, essentially. You know, the pedophile circus fused in with the elite, right? You know, and the aristocrats that are hiding, you know, and actually have the nerve to think they're going to own the United States of America themselves. I mean, they really think they're going to own it, control it, buy it, and make everyone else their slaves. That is really what they're up to. They think they can control, they think they have that much money and power, and they've said it a million times. Listen, the man who is the president of the United States right now, his friend is in jail for sex trafficking at the bare minimum. At the bare minimum, you know, it doesn't matter what they charged the person with or convicted them with. Shit, it could be other shit going on that didn't get charged or didn't get proven or whatever, but actually happened, like espionage. I mean, who in their right mind goes through all that trouble, goes through all that work to sex traffic so many girls, to so many rich elitists, so many aristocrats? We're not just talking about rich. We're talking about people in position to do shit, to make shit happen. Why would you go through all that trouble and then not extort them? That makes no goddamn sense. You're going to commit all these crimes for all this time for what? just to get your whack off? Is that really what it is? No, 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 no. Everybody in there, I mean, people could get their wax off easy. You see what I mean? No, there was something else going on in there. There's something else going on there. And it is most likely espionage and blackmail. Whether it was intended or not, or broke down into that, that's really what's going on. Because, hey, why else would they be making such a big deal out of this? And how do you get somebody who can come out there like Donald Trump's friend, be treated like a queen, right? Be treated like a queen. And this woman was going around in the 90s when Epstein was doing his thing and she was doing her thing. They were collaborators doing their thing. And she was telling the victims they own the police, they own the FBI, they own the DA. That's exactly what she is corroborated and alleged to have said to those girls to keep them quiet. And other people, not just the girls, but likely the Johns too. Likely others that was like, whoa, 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 what you doing here is wrong. Maybe not the Johns. Maybe other people that just say, hey, this shit is not cool what you doing. We own it. You ain't going to do shit about it. We own the DA. We own the police. And we own the FBI. Jeffrey Epstein got a pass. Acosta got a promotion. Pam Bondi was under Acosta in the same DA's office, so she knows all about what was going on. But why are they all keeping it a secret? Why are they keeping it a secret? Look, if all of that stuff came out back then, right? If everything that was useful to the public was revealed back then why are they still keeping a secret now? You know, it makes no sense. It is the most likely case that these people have committed treason and blackmail and espionage to get in power positions like the presidency, for one. And why would you want to get in the presidency? What would you want to do there? You know what I'm saying? And who's walking into the presidency? A dude that is known to be hanging out with the treason squad with Russian mafia, washing money. Alleged. But Russian mafia have gone to jail working on some of Donald Trump's buildings. Yes, straight up. It's not. I mean, so whatever is going on right now is danger. It is danger. They're not telling the American public. That's what it is. Supreme Court is not telling the American public. They're likely involved somehow. You got to think about it. The majority of the Supreme Court are fucking old men. They're men. What's his name? What's this guy's name? His whole career he's been accused. Kavanaugh. How many times he been accused of rape? Kavanaugh. You really think Clarence Thomas is a faithful man? I mean, do you really think he's a faithful man? You know, he's damn sure corrupt. He's damn sure taking money, right? Why do you think these 6 men always side with Donald Trump? Why do you think that is? Why did they never side with Joe Biden? Don't you find that funny? Don't you find that funny? In any case, hey, I have health care. My kids get paid to go to school. It's not going to kill me if the United States of America dies. It's not going to fucking kill me. I moved out of the United States of America. I'm still an American citizen. It would make me cry. But goddamn, I'm not going down as a fucking fool. Not in life. That's my main job, to not go down as a fool and as a slave. That's my main job. To get the most value out of my life. Americans are not getting the most value out of their life. They ain't getting more value out of the average American is not getting more value out of their life than me. They just simply are not. And you know why you hear it? Because when they talk about Denmark, they talk about the happiest people. When you listen to the U.S. people, all they fucking do is complain. Left and right. They complain about each other. The right hates the left. The right hates homosexuals. The right hates black people. The right hates Hispanics. The right hates Jews. That's all they fucking do is waste time doing that. That's all they do. They don't actually even take care of people from natural disasters. They do not. They do not. You simply do not. You don't. You all say this about each other. You don't need me to say it. You're only mad because I'm saying it here on YouTube. And this is how people's minds work. Most people get mad. Most people get mad about shit they shouldn't even get mad at. It's called the truth. It's called the truth. You know you're fucking stuck. You know you're stuck. And you know that Jeffrey Epstein's best friend is the goddamn president of the United States. And you know deep down inside there's only one reason they're keeping the Epstein files a secret, because that man is all up inside of it, and there likely is evidence of crimes in there. You expect Bill Barr to tell you? You expect Bill Barr to tell you? He appointed you. He was appointed by Trump. You expect Acosta to tell you that? He was appointed by Trump. You expect so you all only think Biden is biased. You don't trust nobody associated with Biden. You only think Kamala Harris is biased. No, Dems never tell the truth. Okay, so you think it works the other way around for the Republican Party? That's delusional. That's just delusional. Right now, you got a president that welcomed the enemy, the top enemy of the United States of America, a man who paid for hits on American military, Vladimir Putin. You have a president that can't even keep his dick in his pants. Do you think Trump is sleeping with Melania? Do you think Trump is sleeping with Melania? Put a 1 in the chat if you think Trump is sleeping with Melania, and put a 2 in the chat if you don't. You think Melania is waiting for his ass? You really think that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not there when they do it. But if I had a guess, definitely not. No way in hell with my guess. Zero. You are dealing with a corrupt mafia, and that corrupt mafia is about to make your ass slaves. They're doing it. And they're very good at it. Because thank you, number 2. He elbows up. There's no way goddamn Melania. I mean, none of us really know. We're not in their bedroom, right? But I'm sorry. That man is not getting no good loving from Melania, if you ask me. It's just my opinion. I don't know. But it's so funny how there's so many people in the chat that's like, liar, no, liar, pants. Oh, really? I'm the liar. So where does Pete Hex at? If I'm a liar, where does Pete Hex at? If I'm a liar, where does Donald Trump? If I'm a liar, what are the rest of these buffoons? Pam Bondi, did she release the Epstein tapes? If I'm a liar, where does Cash Patel? What did he do? You guys are just mad because you're going to be goddamn slaves. And a lot of American citizens really do, for no reason at all, just feel deep down inside that they are the fucking best. Wrong. You're not. You've been duped. You could have been the best, but you have been duped. You should have been the best, but you have been duped. You have poor fucking educational system across the country. You have poor goddamn healthcare because most people can't even fucking access it. You have horrible job work situation in unions. People are working 2 and 3 jobs and can't even pay for rent. How many homeless live in the United States of America? What percentage of their population is that? And you guys have a drunkard leading the fucking Pentagon, a drunk who goes out and rambles and tells lies any time of day. You all do not even fact check anything Pete Hegseth says. You don't fact check anything Trump says. You have a nation with a media that allows a man to go out on TV every day and goddamn lie to you and give the same media corporation tax breaks that you will never fucking get in your life. That's who you are. That's not who I am. That's your situation. That's not my situation. And you actually feel good about it. That's fucking deranged. You're supposed to be angry about your government. You're supposed to be pissed about your government because you take home less money than after you pay all your bills and all your taxes than everybody else in the fucking Western world a month. You're supposed to be upset about that. But you don't even have the goddamn brains to be upset about it because you're slaves. A slave wouldn't be upset. A slave would just accept it as, that's the best we could do. Oh, well, you know what Massa going to tell us, y'all. Don't run, be a good slave. Now, listen to Massa. Listen to Massa. But this time, it's a lot of you white asses that are the slaves. It's true. It's true. Black Americans, African Americans ain't going to be the slaves anymore. That's not what's happening. We're not believing in this bullshit. You are. You believe in the plantation with the whip. Whoosh, take that. And you're going to get some more. Every day of the week. That's exactly what you're going to get. And you're going to like it. You are going to like it. You are going to learn to like it if you don't like it. You're going to love it.
99% of this city has been terrorized by 1% of the city.
99% of this city has been terrorized by 1% of this city. Does that make any goddamn sense? 99% of this city has been. So who is the 1%? Who is the 1%? I know who the 1% is. Isn't that odd? It's called the elite wealthy of the United States. Yes, that 1%. That's the 1%. There's not no 1% of DC terrorizing anything. This fool thinks he can go to any city. And first of all, most Americans should be ashamed because you don't even know a damn thing about your capital city. You don't even know how it operates. You think it's a state like the state you live in. You think shit operates just like, you think it operates like Texas. It doesn't. You think it operates like California. It doesn't. You think it operates like New York. It doesn't. That's not how it works.
And the voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots. They have no connections to the city.
That's a goddamn lie. This man goes out there and just lies to you stupid maggots because you're stupid. But nobody from DC is buying it. Nobody from DC is buying it. And every day, people from DC are saying fuck no and are standing up to it. And they don't even have guns. What the fuck are the rest of you going to do with your guns? Nothing. You're going to shut the fuck up and take it. People in DC don't even have guns and they're actually standing up for themselves. They're terrorizing fucking ICE and DC. They're standing around there chasing them out of communities. Everybody's coming out. Guess who's coming outside? White people. Black people. Asian people. Hispanic people. Yes. They're coming outside any fucking way. And this dude is doing nothing but sitting up there lying to folks. And he's not lying to nobody in D.C. because no one in D.C. would believe him.
They have no families they're raising in this city. They have no one that they're sending.
They have no families that they're raising in this city. No families that they're raising in this city. That's so funny. So who are all of those people out there with those cell phones every fucking day in every neighborhood in DC? Who are all those people? Who are they? How would he know who these people are? He's not fucking from DC himself. How would he know? Is Pete Hegseth from DC? No. Donald Trump from DC? No. Who in his administration is from DC?
To school in this city, they have no jobs in this city, they have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to...
Look, they're going to add thousands more to the city. What happened to the billions of dollars you refused to give DC of their own federal tax dollars? What about that billions of dollars they could use to build housing for homeless? What about that $1 billion they could use to actually get kids more access to school? What about that? What about that? But see, this is the game they've been playing on the capital of the United States of America for years. They've been secretly keeping money, withholding money, trying to tell DC what they need to do with their money, and they have to take the blame for the way it turned out. DC doesn't actually run itself. It has what's called home rule with Congress oversight. Every single thing that they blame on DC residents is the Congress goddamn fault. Everything from not having enough judges, Congress fault. They knew DC didn't have enough judges. That didn't start yesterday. That was years ago. That's a decade in the making. That's how long it takes Congress to do shit in DC, and they do it on purpose. This is all, folks, this is all about the Epstein files. This is madmen that are fucking doing this, treating American citizens like this, all because they're hiding pedophiles. That's all that it is. And they're so sick in their head, they think they can rob the American people of billions and billions and trillions of dollars. And that is what they are actually up to right now. They are going to rob the United States of America, and the fucking military is sitting back watching. The Supreme Court is corrupt. They're not going to do a damn thing because they're weak. And after all, how could they defend themselves? They can't defend. The Supreme Court can't defend themselves from tyranny. They can't defend themselves from ICE. They can't defend themselves from the Proud Boys. They can't defend themselves from nobody. They're helpless. Supreme Court is helpless and corrupt, but helpless.
We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists just...
This guy is an immigrant. He's an immigrant himself. His parents came here. Is his parents or grandparents? I mean, is it his grandparents? I'm sorry, y'all. But it doesn't matter. Because whether it's first generation, second generation, or third generation, that's still immigrant talk. This man's family fled Nazi Germany. That's not ancient America. That's not Olmec America. That's not Aztec America. That's not even colonial America. And he's in the position where he's actually talking to people like this. His own family got fucking welfare, got government subsidies from taxpayers from our goddamn ancestors. Yes, the ancestors of people in Washington, D.C. that he's running around pushing the fuck around. Yes, my family was there helping his nasty ass family. And now he's going to be in D.C. talking about it like this? Yes, black people whose families were slaves paid taxes. So his bitch ass can sit up here and talk like this. He is an ungrateful, bad immigrant. That's what he is. It's a lot of people out there in the Fox world that talk a lot of shit, but are really fucking immigrants.
Destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not...
Elderly white hippies. Look, stupid little bitch. These white hippies fought with everybody else in the civil rights movement, you dumb fuck. They've been in the city the whole time since the civil rights era, you piece of shit. If you knew anything about DC, you would know that.
They're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city.
Now he's going to try to, see, the most racist pigs are going to try to play the black card again. They're going to try to play the split and divide people. People ain't going for that shit, dude. People are not going for that. Everybody knows DC is a black city, but did you listen to the black people when they told you their fucking problems? Did you listen to any of the city council when they told you the fucking problems? Did you listen to Mayor Berry? No. Did you listen to Mayor Bowser? No. Did you listen to Mayor Gray? No. Did you listen to any of the mayors? Did you listen to any of their experts who compiled information, compiled data, and went to Congress and said, please stop withholding the money we need to build institutions for our people, for our taxpayers? Did you ever listen to them? Did you ever do what they fucking asked you to do? Fuck no.
That has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers. So we're going to ignore these stupid white...
85%, 80 to 85% of African Americans did not vote for Donald Trump. Period. Not even in DC. You're falling for the hype. You just fall for a television, a Fox News program. OK, read the data, learn the data. You know, you can't just go on what somebody tells you or some picture that you see on TV. You know, you never heard of tokens. You never heard of tokenism. You know, this is what they do. They're all about tokens. They're all about tokens. They're out there trying to shut down the African American Museum right now, talking about slavery. You got to stop talking about slavery like it was all bad. They're just using people. They're just using people. That's all they do. And you know what? Americans deserve everything they get if they go for this weak talk. You deserve it because nobody else on earth is. Nobody else is. Nobody else is going through what you fucking Americans are going through. Nobody else is. Not in the Western world. Nobody else is. It's you all going for this shit. Making excuses for it.
White hippies that all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old. And we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C. Thank you, Stephen.
Sorry, this dude is out of his goddamn mind. And you cannot help people when you do not listen to people. And this man has no comprehensive report that includes any data from the people of Washington, D.C. Not qualified data, not quantitative data, neither one. He's just rambling off at the mouth. And here's the proof, because you are the company you keep. And you're going to hear Pete Hegseth just blindly spit out some lies. And these dudes are standing right next to him, too, saying the same lies. Any of this shit that they're saying can be shot down. Watch.
Mr. Vice President, why are troops stationed here at Union Station on the National Mall instead of areas in D.C. where crime is statistically highest?
Well, if you've ever been to Union Station in the last few
They ask, why are all these people here at Union Station instead of the other places where the crime is? Now watch him sit up there and lie.
Your family, you know that crime is actually extremely high right here in Union Station. You have vagrants, you have drug addicts, you have the chronically homeless, you have the mentally ill who harass, who threaten violence, who attack families, and they've done it for far too long. This should be a monument to American greatness. This should be a place where you can come and share a meal or go
you got no data on that.
Family. It should not be a place where parents of small children are afraid to bring them because, to Stephen's point, we have empowered criminals over the people who actually need public safety in the city. So I think Union Station is a great example of what's possible when you actually have the...
I see you, Quarles. Thank you, bro.
Law and order and common decency back to the public spaces of the United States of America. So many Americans live in cities. They occupy these spaces. They know how unsafe they are, and they would love to be able to just live their life in places like Union Station without violent criminals making it impossible. We have changed so much in 9 days, and I thought it important to highlight how great of a space this could be, how easy it could be to actually enjoy something like...
This is just a distraction. Look at that. We've done so much in 9 days. That's because they want to get the hell out of there. Trust me. They want to get the hell out of there. They just want a picture op.
Something like Union Station, if you just had politicians who stopped prioritizing violent criminals over the public citizens who deserve public safety in their own communities.
And to add to that real quick, we talked to a first responder before we came up here, said this is their #1 call location is Union Station.
Okay, so he says they talked to a first responder A first responder that says their number one call location is Union Station. Now, how many of you know anything about Washington, D.C.'s crime areas? How many of you know? Put a 1 in the chat if you know. Put a 1 in the chat if you know. Can you name it? Name the place. Name the top 3. And he already said Union Station was the number one call location. Although, you know, that's a damn lie. He didn't even bother to check. You know, who goes out there and just quotes somebody that's not standing in front of you? He just happened to talk to a crime responder. This man's a drunk. If you believe him, you're a dumbass. You should be doing the data yourself. If you're not doing the data on yourself, when a drunk man comes out on TV and tells you something, you deserve to be slapped in the face. Jesus, man. Look. Oh, my goodness. You know what? There's so much of this garbage here, but let's just do this.
You're asking whether Union Station is the number one location for 911 calls or first responder dispatches in Washington, D.C. Short answer, no. Union Station itself.
No. The answer is no. For anybody that wants to do some data before they call out 50,000 goddamn federal officers to a location, just do a little bit of study. And by the way, all the studies have already been done. All you have to do is fucking read them.
Is not the primary or number one source of emergency calls in DC. Here's what the data actually indicates. Where emergency calls are routed and why Union Station doesn't stand out. All 911 calls in DC are centralized through the city's Office of Unified Communications, OUC, not by specific location. This agency manages calls for the entire district, routing first responders to wherever emergencies occur, out.dc.gov. The OUC call centers, including the Unified Communications Center and the Public Safety Communications Center, PSCC, handle hundreds of thousands to over 1 million calls per year. In 2023, they processed around 1.77 million 911 calls.
First of all, I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised, so I don't even have to go to chat DDP, you dumbass. Okay? I just know enough to know the dude is goddamn lying. Anybody fucking that knows D.C. knows that the Union Station isn't the number one call fucking place. Come on. Jesus Christ, you got to be goddamn stupid, or you just didn't bother to even want to know what it is. You know, you guys are cheerleaders for motherfuckers that lie to you. If that's how you want to live, that's okay. You could be a cheerleader for somebody that thinks you're a scumbag. You could be a cheerleader for somebody that's ripping off your Social Security. You could be a cheerleader for somebody that's ripping off your health care. You could be a security for somebody who's not going to help you in any natural disaster. You could be a cheerleader for somebody that's making out to make $1 billion while you fucking starve. You can be that fool. Go right ahead. But I'm speaking for myself. I ain't no damn fool.
DMPSJ.gov. Union Station is primarily a transit and commercial hub, a busy area for commuters and shoppers, but there's no data suggesting it is the single top source of emergency calls. At what Union Station's role actually looks like. A community policing and public safety initiative at Union Station helped reduce incidents significantly. Reported disorderly conduct dropped from 133 cases in 2017 to 70 in 2023, and total offences from 785 to 430 over the same period. Cops Office. That suggests there's improved safety with fewer calls for service, not more. There's nothing to indicate Union Station generates the most emergency calls. Summary. Aspect, reality, source of 911 calls, citywide centralized OUC, not tied to one location. Union Station's call volume, no evidence it's the top source, safety has improved there. OUC call volume, city, 1.7 million calls in 2023. Safety trend at Union Station. Decrease in reported incidents over recent years. Final takeaway. Union Station is not the number one call location for first responders in Washington, D.C. If anything, recent evidence suggests it's becoming safer with fewer emergency calls coming from that area. The OUC handles the city's emergency dispatch centrally, based on where incidents occur, not by location, popularity, or frequency. Would you like insight into which neighborhoods or venues typically generate the most emergency?
No. Most people that are Trump voters are not really interested in any of the facts. They don't actually want to know. What they want to is dick ride someone who's a second or third generation immigrant whose family came to the United States begging for taxpayer dollars help, humanitarian help, which all taxpayers, including African Americans, paid into, helped fight in the war to stop the people from killing his goddamn family. And he's going to have the nerve to stand in that building and lie. A building that was even built with black people. I mean, half of the goddamn monuments in D.C. were African American labor. Even the Capitol building. And these people defile it every day with lies. 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 That's what they do it. And if you believe them, you deserve every bit of the trouble you're about to get. Suck it up. Enjoy it. And I'm going to be smiling from here, from Denmark, because you people are fucking hard-headed. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to save you. You got to save your own goddamn ass. You got to save your own goddamn ass. Yes, you do. Now, tell me, y'all, what healthcare plan do you have? Who's your healthcare provider? Put it in the chat. Just curious. Who's a healthcare provider? Let me see how long it takes. See, a lot of the trolls are not even American citizens, so they can't even tell you the healthcare provider because they don't actually know any healthcare providers. Exactly. Medicare gone. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Who's your healthcare provider, y'all? Come on. Speak up for yourself. Be proud of your healthcare. Come on. Be proud of what you got. Let a brother know what you got. Come on. Come on. How much is that how much is that what do they call it? That copay you got to throw down on the table when somebody in your family gets sick? How much you got to pay for that health care to kick in? Now tell me that part. You see? You see? You see? Exactly. 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 No, there's no specifics there. There's no specifics there. And that's okay. It's the same thing with DC. Not only do you not know shit about your own healthcare, by the way, you barely have any, but you also don't know anything about DC if you actually haven't really studied anything about DC. You can just study it. Do you know DC has a history? Do you know that? It does. Everything is open to the public. Every single thing, not only the crime, but for you all, you don't even want to know the crime statistics. You want to wait until Trump has time to make some up before you believe anything. Okay, that's fine enough for me. I mean, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. That's perfectly fine with me. I hope you got a gun. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. You're going to need that goddamn gun, boy. Woo. Let's go have some fun now.
What happens after your presidency? How can we ensure that this conflict, that Putin doesn't inch in closer or more into the Ukraine territory? Is there anything that we can do? Can our congressmen and women pass any laws that would involve Article 5? How would that be handled?
All you can do is make sure you get a good president, not one of these wackos like in California that runs the worst state anybody's seen, or that guy in Illinois.
Gavin Newsom is bothering this guy.
Who his family threw him out of the business because he was no good. Now he's running.
Watch this. This is your president.
He's got zero chance. Maybe Newsom has a little bit of a chance. I don't know, but it's hard to believe because his record's bad. But all you can do is hope you don't get that as president. We have a great bench, as you. there's a guy named Sean Hannity. He might take a very lovely young lady that he knows very, very well.
Sean Hannity, first generation immigrant, hates the United States of America, knows everything about what's wrong with the United States of America, first generation immigrant. His parents came to the United States of America. He knows everything about the U.S.'s problems. And you guys sit up there and listen to his ass all day long like he fucking knows something. Let me tell you something. Trump, Sean Hannity, neither one of their families have been in the United States as long as Biden or Gavin Newsom's families. Just flat out. Just so you know, just in case you're interested. Just in case you're interested. They are goddamn immigrants. They're immigrants. They're immigrants. And they've taken you Americans whose families have been in the United States for centuries for goddamn fools, because you are fucking fools. No other country would allow people to do that to them. But the United States of America has. And you know how they did it? They did it through race baiting. Because they know your mind better than you know it. Some rich people can come in there like Elon Musk and play you. Just throw a little N-words out there for you to go chase. Throw a little Hispanic, a little Jew, salt and pepper on top of it. And you buy it every goddamn time. Because you're stupid and you're racist and you're bigots. And they are going to enslave you because of that stupidity. And you deserve it. You deserve it. And you're going to get it. And I'm going to broadcast it. I'm going to watch it as it happens to you because you deserve it.
To dinner in Washington, and they don't have to. And she's sitting right next to you, by the way.
That's right. But Mr. President,
I don't want to get him in trouble.
Trump is on Fox News. They can't even get him to shut up. They want to help him, but he can't shut his verbal diarrhea mouth up for 2 seconds as the president of the United States. He's about to out Sean Hannity's girlfriend. Sean Hannity been having a good old oopy boopy time with the lady right here, the co-host.
Exactly.
Go, Sean Hannity. Go do your thing. Go do your thing, boy. Go, Sean. It's your birthday.
Hey, this could be the most important thing I said. But let me tell you, those are two great angels.
See, the one in the middle, that's Sean Hannity's girlfriend. That's who Trump is talking about. He just outed her on TV. And he's going to out everybody that helps him anyway. That's the beautiful part about Trump. He outs everybody. All the people that work with him, he outs them. Watch this.
Ainsley and Sean, people in government.
Well, President Trump, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know that you have lots of other wars around the world that you need to end. And that's more important than anything. So we appreciate you joining us this morning.
No, thank you very much,
Mr.
Charlie.
President.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ainsley, thank you. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with John. But no,
We
it's just
appreciate
a great
your
couple.
support.
I'll
Thank
say
you.
it. I like this. It's a great couple. We love them. Have a good
Thank you,
time,
Mr.
everybody.
President.
Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you all very much.
The
A lot of
45th
fun.
and 47th President of the United States giving us some breaking news on what took place in the meeting yesterday when you decided to call Vladimir Putin. What was the reaction among the other people in the room, and what was President Putin?
So, the White House can't decide because they have lied. They can't decide whether everyone in the EU was in the room when he took the call from Putin, or if they were not. They have two different floating stories that they now have to explain. But of course, they're not going to be trying to explain this shit to any maggot, because they don't have to. Maggots go for anything. It doesn't matter. They can flip-flop. If you tell a maggot we're going to release the Epstein files on day one, a maggot will say, yeah, I'm going to vote for that asshole. And then when that asshole gets arrested, they will say, I ain't going to do it because I'm all up in it. And the maggot will say, well, hey, man, Biden was in it too.
Reaction to like being brought into a phone call in the middle of your meeting.
Well, I think they expected it. I didn't do it in front of them. I thought
Putin is playing Trump like a fiddle. He's playing the United States military like a fiddle. He's playing the Secret Service like a fiddle. He's playing the feds like a fiddle. He's playing the ATF like a fiddle. He's playing All of them. The CIA, like a fiddle, they are all officially losers because of Trump. Yes, they are.
I thought that would be disrespectful to President Putin. I wouldn't do that because they have not had the warmest relations. And actually,
you hear that? So that would be disrespectful of Putin now. So his staff put out that he took a call with Putin right then with them. That's what his staff put out. But now Trump is saying he wouldn't do that. That would be disrespectful of Putin to have a call in front of the EU, in front of the NATO. That would be disrespectful. Yeah, we know why. How long? Tell me. How long was Trump in Russia? Do you think Trump has been with any little girls in Russia? If you think he has, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, put a 2. Has Trump been with any little girls in Russia? Do you think he has? Put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't think he has, put a 2 in the chat. I mean, I don't see why he would be in the United States and all these little girls would be like pointing fingers at his ass. And I don't see how he could be the best friend of the most prolific pedophile and sex trafficker in the U.S. and then go to Russia and be like, oh, nah, I'll take a pass. I'm not interested in sex traffickers. I'm not interested in hanging around guys that like little girls suddenly because I'm in Russia, Can't do that. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? I'm just going here for fun. I'm just going to have a beauty pageant and open up a fucking hotel. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. This is Americans. Yo, just listen to me. I know I might say some wild stuff, but listen, I'm just keeping it real. I'm born and raised in the United States of America. My family comes from the beginning of the goddamn country. Why should I have to put up with any bullshit for 1 second? And I'm encouraging other Americans like that to feel the same way as me. Don't put up with no BS. Don't put up with the bullshit. Just call a fucking lie a lie. Just accept. The country is fucked. The country has been compromised. Just accept it. Stop making excuses. American citizens, after paying all their bills, healthcare, taxes, rent, electricity, whatever you want to call it, after they pay all their bills, they take home less money than any other citizens of any other Western nation. And the only reason why you do is because you have more filthy, rich, corrupt pieces of shit that play poor people, play poor white people every fucking day of the week like a fiddle. They throw them the little caveat of go be mad at an N-word, go be mad at a Jew, go be mad at a homo, go be mad at all of these little people. And those people are so stupid they go, okay. While the same people that's telling them that rob them blind. Heritage Foundation. How far do you think their family members go back in U.S. history? Do you think they even go back to the Civil War in the first place? Do you even think they go back to they keep saying 1776? Do they even go back that far? Fuck no, they don't. They don't. And they got these people listening to their ass. They just threw a name up on it. Heritage. And motherfucking dumbass maggots was like, must be true. They said it. They're white. And they said heritage. Must be fucking true. That's all I need to hear. Oh, and they said get some N-words and get some Jews and get some homos and get some kinks and chinks and tykes and bikes. They must be saying the right thing. That's my kind of talk. I'll go for it every fucking time.
Actually, President Putin wouldn't talk to people from Europe. I mean, that was part of the problem.
So President Putin, look, Trump doesn't want to, hey, he don't have nothing. He's not involved in the Ukraine-Russian war. Hey, man, that's not an American problem. Okay, so why are you putting yourself in the middle of the fucking problem? It's obvious. He's running interference for Putin. It's obvious. He's running interference for Putin. Putin helped him get elected. Putin knows the secrets. And the rest of you have to pay.
No communication. They had no communication with the White House for years as people died. Years with Biden and his people. No communication. Putin told me. Years. It was years.
That's bullshit. And again, why do you guys go for this? The United States government has always maintained contact with every superpower behind the scenes. Of course, you don't have to talk directly to the president, but with certain things, their generals are communicating. The generals from Russia are communicating with the generals from the U.S. The generals from China are communicating with the generals from the U.S. What the fuck is this man talking about? You haven't talked to them for years. And so fucking what? And so fucking what?
Years that he didn't speak to anybody from the White House. And it was a long time that...
This man is on Putin's nuts so hard. He's acting like that was a great achievement. They hadn't talked to him for years, you know? And look at me, and now I'm the one who talked to them. Hey, I had to talk to Putin because Putin got me by the balls, God damn it. If I don't talk to Putin, of course he can't say if I don't talk to Putin, he's going to fuck me over. If I don't talk to Putin, he can't tell you like that. So he's got to make it sound like some great achievement and shit. I talk to Putin. Putin will talk to the fucking United States of America any goddamn time they choose. Any goddamn time. It's not that he wasn't trying to talk to the U.S. It's the other fucking way around. You can't talk to despots. So you want to talk to a person that's been the president of a country, killed political rivals, jailed political rivals, poisoned Russian dissidents across the globe. And you're going to talk to that person? This motherfucker's been doing that for 30 years. And you're going to talk to him as the American president? And then you're going to say you're for freedom and democracy at the same time? Sorry, it doesn't work.
He didn't speak to anybody from Europe. No, it's a fractured relationship. And when I came in, I always had, despite the Russia hoax, which truly was a very dangerous thing for our country, but despite that, I maintained a very good relationship. I mean, you saw that when he got off his plane, I got off my plane. There's a warmth there that you can't, there's a...
Do you hear this lunatic? He got off his plane, I got off my plane. There's a warmth there. And this is the MAGA people's hero. This is their hero. This is their hero. Hey, everybody on the left, if you have the legal right to purchase weapons, purchase your weapons now, because this man is going to do anything to stay in power. Just like he will start a war to stay in power, he will also try to make an executive order to cancel people's ability to buy weapons. Trust me. I don't know. I'm not saying I know that for a fact. I'm just saying, trust me. Buy your weapons now while you have a fucking chance. And buy enough so that the person in your neighborhood who's a good guy that just can't get a fucking weapon because he got caught up on some petty beef years ago, have enough for them too. I'm just telling you straight up, because none of you thought you would be in this position last year. None of you. Speaking of DC, the DC government, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not hard on Mayor Bowser, and I'm not hard on the city council like that. But I do live in another country, so I know what it's like when people love their citizens and put their citizens first. Healthcare is there for all citizens. Education is there for all citizens. So I know what that's really like when people love their people. But the facts is that the DC police, the FBI, the National Guard failed to protect not just the Capitol on January 6th. They failed to protect Washington, D.C. because you can't get to the Capitol without walking your ass through D.C., driving your ass through D.C. And they had a plot the entire time. This is the second time they have failed to put the citizens of Washington, D.C. first. This has got to be the last goddamn time. Democrats have to learn a lesson from this. These people do not fucking care about your history in the country. They don't care if your family went back to Crispus Attucks. They fucking do not care what contributions you have made to the country. They fucking don't care. They hate you. They want to kill you. They want you exterminated. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. You tell me what it looks like. They didn't go to DC to solve any problems. Anybody who wants to look into any details can easily figure that out. DC has had homeless since fucking slavery was abolished. What the hell? It's a capitalistic country. No one has abolished homelessness across the entire USA. Hello? That's a fucking structural state problem. That's a federal problem. They're supposed to be talking about homeless people across the entire country. The richest country on earth could have done something about that. But they didn't want to. They just want to push people fucking around. You can easily become homeless in the United States of America if you don't have 2 to 3 fucking jobs. It's loads of people. It's loads of people that gotta have 2 or 3 jobs just to stay alive in the United States of America. It's people driving state to state just because one state, they can only afford to live in one state and they have to work in another state. It's fucking, the federal government could have done something about that. They could have. It's the richest country on earth. But the wealthy people come first, and they're not even goddamn Americans, most of them. Straight up. They're not even goddamn Americans, most of them. Elon Musk is not a fucking American. How many contracts does he have? Trump's like a Trump is a second generation American, straight up. He's second generation born in America. Straight up. Straight up. Y'all better start doing your math. Start looking for the details, because everything that's white is not right. And a lot of you white Americans fall for that shit all the goddamn time, particularly the broke asses. Particularly the broke ass white Americans. I mean, really, the elite, the wealthy motherfuckers, they're like 1%. You know what I'm saying? The middle class, okay. Y'all pretty okay. Y'all pretty cool. You guys at least understand what, the realities that slavery really did exist and racism really did exist. But a lot of these broke asses, boy, woo, they got a long fucking way to go. They got a long way to fucking go. Because this was their champion. The very man that is going to watch their families lose their homes in the next goddamn. It's flooding. Just yesterday, the federal government just denied another red state relief disaster funds. What the hell? What the hell? Yo, I'm just saying this. I love my country, but the Supreme Court, the United States military has left this up to a civilian thing. They say they can't interfere in civilian matters. Well, the Supreme Court has sold out the citizens of the United States of America. They have. And they've done it by working together with some elitists that have conspired with some Putin motherfuckers to take over the country. And they think they're going to own it. They think they're going to own every contract under the United States government. They think they're going to own every piece of land. That's all this is about. I'm telling you. If you ask me, that's all this is about. If you ask me, and I'm telling you, If Democrats are going to move any further, they're going to have to learn to respect gun rights, because you're going to need them, because these Republicans are not going to listen to reason at all. You can see that. They simply don't care what you think. They only respect a gun. They only respect a gun. If you could be right as rain about everything. You could do all the planning. You could do all the research. Without armed citizens, they are not fucking going to listen. They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen.
People are never going to forget. The problem is, do we have any power? What do we do? What do you do? You definitely can change the way you vote, like if it comes up again. But the problem is, this is a bipartisan issue. It's certainly not a hoax if Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail, too. She's in jail for sex trafficking. But the question is, to who? Who's she in jail? You have to be sex trafficking to somebody in order to go to jail, right?
Yeah.
So who? How's that work?
Never stop asking questions. And you have tons of power. You're Joe Rogan. Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in the East. On the scale of momentous and impossible to ignore, Joe Rogan reminding his millions of listeners that they can, quote, change the people they vote for, is a clear sign that Joe Rogan is not going to become Lindsey Graham in this story. He's refusing to buy the BS being peddled by the Trump White House and rescue Donald Trump from a crisis of his own making, his botched handling of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. The scandal has proven to be sticky and a critical flashpoint and growing political nightmare for Donald Trump and his entire administration, as well as Republicans in Congress who, in a sign of weakness, decided to tell everyone they were leaving Washington to go home to hide from the Epstein scandal. Now it is the subject of a significant brand new court ruling that broke late today.
Dude, somebody just wrote, that one dude, Kamala would have been less chaos, but the same level of crap. Dude, at least you would have got your damn FEMA money. Come on, stop this bullshit.
The judge overseeing the Epstein case saying he will not unseal the grand jury transcripts and exhibits, rejecting a request by Donald Trump in his bid to appear transparent and quell this political firestorm bipartisan.
The FEMA money is your money you already paid. The FEMA money is the money you already paid.
Is in backlash to his handling of it. In his ruling, Judge Richard Berman writes this today, quote, a significant and compelling reason to reject the government's position in this litigation is that the government has already undertaken a comprehensive investigation into the Epstein case. And, not surprisingly, has assembled.
One thing we know is that Kamala Harris is not in the Epstein files. Joe Biden is not in the Epstein files. That we know for sure. Donald Trump is. You voted for the person that's in the FBI files, and now he's whipping your goddamn ass for it, and you deserve it. Do it again.
A quote,
Keep making excuses. Keep making excuses.
Trove of Epstein documents, interviews, and exhibits. And the government committed that it would share its Epstein investigation materials with the public. End quote. Judge Berman also writes this, quote, the information contained in.
Put a 1 in the chat if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are in the Epstein files. Put a 1 in the chat. If they're in the Epstein files, put a 1 in the chat. Is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the Epstein files? Anybody? Anybody? Put a 1 in the chat. Oh, somebody got to put 1 3 goddamn times. Okay, sure they're in the file. So tell me this. How come everybody is just assigned to why doesn't anybody in the DOJ just leak it then? Why don't they just leak it? Why don't they just show people? Why don't they just show? Why don't they do? So what's stopping them? Remember what Trump said? You know what? If there was anything about me in it, they would have leaked it already. Okay, so Trump, is there anything about them in it? Would you leak it if there was anything about them? Apparently, Trump is saying he wouldn't. But they live in his head every goddamn day. Biden, Biden, Biden. That's all he can say about Biden. So you mean he wouldn't even go out there to say one? He wouldn't even insinuate that Biden is in the Epstein files. He wouldn't even insinuate. Yeah, put two if he would. If Biden and Kamala are not in the Epstein files. Put two if they're not in the Epstein files. You know, I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. This is the whole goddamn Trump administration that ran on releasing the Epstein files. As soon as they got in there, they began to hide the Epstein files. I mean, come on, you deserve to be slapped in the face. You deserve to be slapped in. You deserve to go broke. You deserve to lose it. If this is the kind of rational skills you have, you ain't going to survive. You're not going to fucking survive.
The Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to the Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. The government is the logical party to make comprehensive.
Now you hear this. The judge, since they went on another distraction, they wanted to get the grand jury testimony for the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, right? Okay, and they did that for a distraction because they already know that the scope was narrowed in that grand jury. So they're not allowed to talk about a whole lot of other people or anything. They make the scope as narrow as possible in the grand jury. That's the whole point of it, to make it narrow. Then if it goes to trial, then you could open it up as big as you want. I mean, as long as it has something to do with those two, right? But the grand jury thing is just enough to get them into a trial. And so they already know it was narrow, the information in there. So, but what they want to do is, since the whole public is demanding the Epstein files, they say, let's just go after the grand jury thing and give them that, hoping that people shut up. And people didn't shut up. And this is what they're explaining right here. The judge had a response, and the judge is like, yo, what the hell are y'all talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You have a trove of information on who, what, when, why, how for decades on Epstein yourself. Why don't you just release those? You don't need anything inside of her grand jury thing that's not already in the files that you have. That's the whole point. This is what the judge said.
Disclosure to the public of the Epstein files. By comparison, the instant grand jury motion appears to be a diversion from the breadth and scope of the Epstein files in the government's possession.
Exactly. It's simple.
Judge Berman's ruling coming one day after the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee announced his committee intends to release Epstein investigation records to the public, which the Justice Department is expected to begin sharing with members on Friday. As the questions pile up, so too does the political peril for Republicans who could be forced into a vote next month that the New York Times says will, quote, thrust them into a political thorny position.
The Republicans went on a month vacation because people were asking for the Epstein files. They're even right now trying to negotiate to say that more. Look, the DOJ, the Republicans, you know what they want? They don't want to release any of the other people involved. They don't want to mention any of the other people. That's crazy. They only want to mention, they're saying on one hand, they're going to redact the victims, anything to protect the victims. But when it came to releasing it in this congressional hearing, they flipped the whole script and say, no. It's not just the victims. It's also other people that could, have their reputations harmed and all of this shit. That is what the Republicans are goddamn saying. This is the country you live in. This is your country. The country that has been destroyed by espionage because someone was allowed, likely, because someone was allowed to go too decades sex trafficking little girls in Florida and in New York with aristocrats. They could be, and you know what some of the aristocrats are that is actually starting to come out, where people are saying it's some more Republicans that are even in office right now. That's the word on the street. That is the word on the street. And you might want to start thinking about who they are, because think about this. They seem to be fighting the release of these files very well. Republicans are lock in step. They're lock in step with throwing the next election. Look, anything that's going to lead to the release of those files, they're going to fight to the teeth. And the election, the midterm elections, is one of the things that they're fighting to the teeth, because they know if they lose this midterm election, everyone is going to find out what the fuck is going on with espionage. Everyone's going to find out who the pedophiles are. Yo, everything you're seeing right now, this raid on DC, this talk about the African American Museum, it's just race baiting. Trump is looking for anything for his base, to appease his base, to keep his base. He doesn't give a fuck. Look, he was there. Trump was it was like 2017 or something, I think, where Trump was talking about the African American Museum like it was beautiful and great. It's all on tape. I have a clip of it already now. Don't trip. I just have so many damn clips and so many times. I have the clip already. Trump is out there. The clip is circulating. In 2017, Trump said the exact opposite. Was it 2017? Hold on, let me see something. Was it 17? When was it that Trump was at 20? Yeah, it was. And something like that, 2017, 2018, he had this whole speech about how great the African American Museum was. And now all of a sudden, because the Epstein files, people want the Epstein files, he's got to go for race baiting, y'all. Don't fall for it, maggots. And let me just change this. Not all poor white people are MAGA fans. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry if I offended anybody. Like, truly, I'm serious about this. But you get my point. Far too many poor white people vote against their own goddamn interests in the country. And a lot of them are MAGA fans, you know? So, but the point is that he knows that base goes for race baiting. He knows his base goes for little race chum here and there. And that's all the man has left. He's going to do anything. So now it's the African American Museum because he wants you to stop fucking talking about the Epstein files. He's raided DC because he fucking knows you maggots like it, because you know that DC is a majority African American city. And just because you're so fucking stupid, why would you be so racist towards people that have fought in every war since the beginning of this country, you stupid bastards? But you go for it. You go for it every single fucking time. You're easy. You're way too easy. Your booty is way too loose. You got a fucking huge gap, MAGA. Yes. Karen got a big old gap. I told her I'd be true, but Karen got a big old gap. So I'm leaving you. I mean, goddamn. It's like this motherfucker. You know, you guys are cheap. You are whores. You're fucking whores. You are. You are Donald Trump fucking whores. You're Elon Musk goddamn horse. You're cheap. You give up the booty easy. You know nothing about the history or the people in your own goddamn country. Goddamn. Goddamn.
Between Trump and constituents, with a timetable that, quote, all but guarantees that the issue would hang over lawmakers throughout the August recess and that Republican leaders would be forced to address it when they return. That is where we start the hour with some of our favorite experts and friends. Voting rights attorney and founder of Democracy Docket, Mark Elias, is here. plus former acting assistant attorney general for national security at the Justice Department, Mary McCord, is here. And MSNBC senior contributing editor Michelle Norris is here. Mark Elias, she wouldn't be sitting in prison if she hadn't trafficked girls for sex to people. So where do you think this political crisis for Donald Trump stands?
Yeah, exactly. So where are the people that these thousands of little girls were trafficked to? Come on, they were the rich and the wealthy. It's aristocrats. So if there was 1,000 little girls, do the math. Do the math. What do you think? There's 100 Johns that are rich, wealthy aristocrats? 200? How many times would a person go back to Epstein Island or to one of Epstein's orgies? How many times in a row do you think that is? The average one. I'm talking about the one that is just fucked up one. I mean, because it only takes one time to fuck your whole career and be extorted. It only takes one time. How many you think? 500? You think 100? Tell me what you think. Put the number in. How many aristocratic people? That means judges. They could be federal judges. They could be Supreme Court judges. Politicians sitting that are active right now. Right? Anything else? Maybe Secret Service. Maybe CIA. Maybe FBI. How many? Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 300? How many of influential people do you think are involved in this scandal? Directly involved. Oh, you guys don't even know. That's interesting. I guess the chat, y'all so busy fighting against each other. Goddamn. All right, well, go ahead and fight. In any case, I'll tell you what I think. I think there's definitely judges, federal judges. I think there's a possibility that there's a Supreme Court judge. I think there's a possibility that there's multiple people in Congress right now that are directly implicated in those Epstein files. That's what I think. And I also think Elon Musk is too. Although he acts like he wants it released, I don't buy that bullshit at all. He knows he lost all his money. He knows people hate him. And I believe his comments. I don't know. I just believe. Notice the difference in the word belief and know. I believe he said it because he saw himself losing so much money and saw how much people hated him for what he did, that he decided to pretend like he's against Trump. But notice how Elon Musk still has all his government contracts. So if they really had a beef, then why does he still have all those contracts? You tell me. If he really had a beef, why does he have all those contracts? Why do you think it is? Is it luck? Is it just that he's a good guy and Trump likes him? I mean, what do you all think it is? Elon Musk still has all those contracts. He might have more contracts than anybody with the government. Why do you think that is if they still have beef? Nothing Trump can do about it. Trump can't cancel those contracts. If you ask me, I don't buy it at all. I think they basically planned that little thing, that little fight to get the heat off. And I think they're going to do a whole lot more in the time coming. The closer people get to knowing more truth, and the closer these Epstein files get to being released, the more chaotic the United States of America is going to be in. That's what I believe. Because these Epstein files are going to blow the roof off of the mother. It's going to tear the roof off the mother. Like straight up. And that's what I believe is going on. Wealthy people have toyed with Americans so much that for them, lying is nothing. And you could see how easy these people go out there and lie every single day. They just have no shame whatsoever. They will tell you one thing, come back, tell you another thing the next day, come back after that, tell you a completely different, totally different thing that the day after that, right? And then they will have the nerve to try to pretend like it's you who's crazy. It's you who doesn't understand. You know, they will even tell you, oh, I was just being sarcastic about that. You know, I said this and it was just something I was just saying in election time is all. I didn't really mean it. It's just something that people, you know, say just to have fun. I thought you would laugh about it when I said this. You know, it's like they really do go about things like that. And, you know, they don't have any reason not to, because Americans seem to keep going along for it, keep falling for it, keep accepting it while you keep paying taxes. Keep on, you know, Americans are still paying taxes.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. A truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. A truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Now you hear this, right? Listen to her own words. No people have a legal basis. That's what she just said. Listen to this. And now they just flip the entire, it's them who are claiming they have a legal basis to withhold the shit.
Or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And
now it's her who's making the arguments why you can't just release other people's names besides the, why you have to keep other people's names redacted also. It's her making the excuse. It's literally her making the excuses now. She said before nobody had any legal case to keep their names private. unless they're in litigation over a matter right now, or if they're a victim. Well, who's in litigation over a matter right now? It's not Ghislaine Maxwell. Who's in litigation? And they changed their whole story. I mean, what does that tell you? That tells me that the United motherfucking States of America is in deep, deep trouble if those files are being kept. That means whatever it is in those files are very, very bad. Not just bad to somebody's ego or reputation, something else worse. That's what that tells me.
And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. Or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well. Or a
People are never going to forget. The problem is, do we have any power? What do we do? What do you do? You definitely can change the way you vote, like if it comes up again. But the problem is, this is a bipartisan issue.
Bipartisan.
Certainly not a hoax if Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail too. She's in jail for sex trafficking. But the question is, to who? Who's she in jail? You have to be sex trafficking to somebody in order to go to jail, right?
Yeah.
So who? How's that work?
They're definitely keeping the names of the people the girls were sex trafficked to in those files. That's quite obvious. That's quite obvious.
Never stop asking questions. And you have tons of power. You're Joe Rogan. Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in the East. The judge overseeing the Epstein case saying he will not unseal the grand jury transcripts and exhibits, rejecting a request by Donald Trump in his bid to appear transparent and quell this political firestorm, bipartisan backlash to his handling of it. In his ruling, Judge Richard Berman writes this today, quote, "A significant and compelling reason to reject the government's position in this litigation is that the government has already undertaken a comprehensive investigation into the Epstein case and, not surprisingly, has assembled a, quote, trove of Epstein documents, interviews, and exhibits. And the government committed that it would share its Epstein investigation materials with the public," end quote. Judge Berman also writes this, quote, "The information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to the Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. The government is the logical party to make comprehensive disclosure to the public of the Epstein files. By comparison, the instant grand jury motion appears to be a diversion from the breadth and scope of the Epstein files in the government's possession." Judge Berman's ruling coming one day after the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee announced his committee intends to release Epstein investigation records to the public, which the Justice Department is expected to begin sharing with members on Friday. As the question is,
that's this Friday, except you're going to hear them say that they're trying to block other people's names outside of the victims also. And so that is what the debate is now behind the scenes. Yes, that's been released to the media.
It's a political peril for Republicans who could be forced into a vote next month that the New York Times says will, quote, thrust them into a political thorny position between Trump and constituents with a timetable that, quote, all but guarantees that the issue would hang over lawmakers throughout the August recess and that Republican leaders would be forced to address it when they return. That is where we start the hour. Some of our favorite experts and friends. Voting rights attorney and founder of Democracy Docket, Mark Elias, is here. Plus, former acting assistant attorney general for national security at the Justice Department, Mary McCord, is here. And MSNBC senior contributing editor Michelle Norris is here. Mark Elias.
Exactly. They plan on editing the files, Carlos. That's what it is. They want to redact not just the victims' names, but it's the DOJ. They've already said this. They want to redact other people's names that they claim their image would be hurt. Right. But here's the thing. Why don't they just release it so everybody knows who's telling the truth, so everyone can make up their own mind. Right. And the same people that are now saying that they don't want to release all of it, except with the victims' names redacted. The people who claimed that they were going to release it in the beginning with just the victims' names redacted are now claiming they're not going to do that. They're going to redact many other people's names because they feel like their image could be hurt. Straight up. Straight up.
It is something I came to late, but something I now cover enthusiastically, and that is the political import to the Trump coalition and the Republican majority in Congress of support from the manosphere and this culture-adjacent political wing. When you have the ostensible leader of that cultural adjacent movement saying we can, quote, change who we vote for next time, and explaining the nature of a child sex trafficking ring on the air, which was, you've got Ghislaine Maxwell in prison, but there are people she trafficked too, making the very logical point that to be imprisoned for felony child sex trafficking, and I think there are 4 other convictions, conspiracy to commit child sex trafficking and whatnot, you had to have been trafficking children for sex, 2 people. And so his point is simple and not really one to be argued with, because she wouldn't be sitting in prison if she hadn't trafficked girls for sex, 2 people. So where do you think this political crisis for Donald Trump stands today?
So I think that it stands in a hiatus until Congress returns, and then there will be a critical pivot point, as you suggest. The fact is that the Republicans in the House almost certainly are going to have to vote on whether to release the Epstein files. Now, the jujitsu that's starting to play out, you can just already see it, is that the Justice Department is going to selectively send some records to the House committee. Comer is then going to selectively release only some of those records. And committee, Comer is to the House records to the House committee. Comer is then going to selectively release some records to the House committee. Comer is then going to selectively release only some of those records. And I promise you, none of them will include the name Donald Trump.
So you see that only some, but it gets deeper because they already said they're going to redact more people's names. It's not just Trump's names they're redacting, y'all. I'm telling you.
They will preemptively say, look, we did the thing that we said we were going to do. Democrats will call it out and say that is not true. And then the question is, where does the politics fall? Does the Trump coalition just say, okay, that's good enough? Or, as I suspect is the case, they say, no, we actually really want all the Epstein files. Like we didn't come this far to just have some of them. And that's where I just think like they have misread the politics of this all along. People may not understand all the nuance of policy.
They don't want to release the files because it's going to show extortion and espionage. Again, nobody goes through the trouble of sex trafficking. That's a whole lot of coordination. 1,000 girls videotaping with aristocrats for 10 years just for the sake of getting their freak off. The chances of there being extortion and espionage is just as high as the chances of these girls being victims of sexual assault. It's just very simple.
They may not really understand how Medicaid cuts affect them this year versus.
And if you have judges, if you have presidents, if you have vice presidents, if you have senators, if you have congressmen that are being extorted, that another nation knows and has pictures of them with activities or videos with little girls, don't you know how fucked up your politic will be? Don't you understand you do not have freedom at that point? And this is the real conversation, American people, no matter if you're Republican, MAGA, if you're Democrat, if you're liberal, if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Asian, if you're Hispanic, if you're tall, short, fat, skinny, whatever the fuck you are, whatever state you come from. That is the real conversation American people need to have to save their motherfucking ass and their goddamn country. Anything less than that, you must like being very close to being a fucking slave. And I'm going to tell you again, already American citizens work 1 more hour a day than other citizens in Western countries. After you pay your taxes, your expenses, your essential expenses, housing, electricity, gas, food, clothing, all, education, all of those things, you take home less money than everyone else in every other Western nation. And you work 1 more hour a day for that. Americans better start fucking waking up. Stop falling for bigotry. Stop letting these Republicans just throw you the African American museum so you can salivate over it. Yeah, them N-words going to learn their lesson while they rape your family. Just wake the fuck up. Why do you give a fuck who Elon Musk is? Why did you fucking elect a billionaire to be the fucking president? You think he's your goddamn friend? You are dumb. No one else fucking does that. Everywhere else a billionaire has been elected in a Western country, that billionaire has created so many problems for that country. Ask motherfucking Italy. Berlusconi, man. It took them forever to get rid of that dude. He never wanted to leave power. Yes, he left a stain on Italy. And he owned media companies too. And he played the same game. But the difference is that the rest of the EU, they saw Elon Musk coming. And they was like, oh, hell no. They threw Elon Musk out a long time ago because Elon Musk was trying to run the same scam. This dude is the richest man in the world. Are you crazy? You never let the rich. That's like letting a wolf in the hen house.
Next year, they may not understand who is telling the truth and not telling the truth about tax cuts. They understand what it means that there was a child sex trafficker in the name of Jeffrey Epstein, that Donald Trump's campaign promised to release those files, that Donald Trump has a reason, some really good reason personal to him, that he doesn't want them released, and that the Republican Party is doing his bidding. That's not a complicated story for people. And so I think ultimately the politics cut in favor of these files having to be released. But I think the question is going to be the way in which the Department of Justice slow walks or selectively releases.
All right, y'all. So, I can play so much more, but we got more days to come. And I'm going to be blasting these people every day because what the fuck? I enjoy it. Number one, my family on both sides comes from the beginning of the United States of America in the colonial period. I love my goddamn country. And I have lived in and outside of the U.S. I've lived in New York and Washington, D.C. I'm born and raised from Washington, D.C. I love my city and I love my people. I'm not just talking about from DC. I'm talking about Americans. I know what's dope about Americans because I've traveled around the world to see how other people think. I know what's good and what's bad. And I also know what's wrong with Americans too. And our political shit is totally fucking wrong. It is for the elite, and they play games with the everyday working person's money and life. They play games. I know this because I live in another country where they limit the amount of games that wealthy people can play. They're like, play all the games you want, but we better have our goddamn healthcare in check. Play all the games you want, but this education, I better be able to get a goddamn new education if I need a new industry job. Play all the games you want, but this rent control better be real, goddamn it. And those paychecks better pay for your expenses, not just have you running around hoping and begging and then being thrown out on the street with a goddamn job. Full-time job. Yo, wake up, y'all. Wake up. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Dem. I'm a goddamn American first. But I also am a Democrat. Why? Because goddamn, at least they want to talk about health care. At least they want to talk about education. At least they want to talk about housing. What goddamn? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? It's better than race baiting all the time. You know, look, all these Mexicans, y'all, and these Hispanic people you're kicking out, did your taxes get cheaper in your state? Did your federal taxes get cheaper in your state? What have they built since that? Since they're doing all of this, what have they gotten? We know what the billionaires got. They got a tax break. They got billions. They got damn near $1 trillion in tax breaks. So we know what they got. They got their money first. You voted for them. They got their money first. You got natural disaster destruction, and you got your prices going up, and you're watching it. Listen to me very closely, Dems. If Republicans don't want to listen to me, fair enough. Hey, I'm not begging you to. The smart ones will, because they're not all stupid. Some of them are just Republicans, and you say enough things to make sense, and they understand. But listen, Dems, lefties, all the other people that these MAGA people don't want to respect our contributions for, listen to me. Their plan is to starve people out. If they starve you out first by slow walking you, by every day now your check goes a little bit further, you have less savings, you have less food in your crib, less ability to buy food. Once your stocks are worn out, your ability to sustain a fight is also worn out. Trump could very well, from one day to the next, pass a law banning your ability to buy guns. I'm just telling you. Just like he did an executive order, and just like the Supreme Court went along right with the rest. I'm just fucking telling you. You don't have to listen. My kids get paid to go to school. It's not even on me. Their health care is covered, and they're American citizens. My health care is covered. If I want to go to school tomorrow, I can. If I want to get a new trade, I can. But I love my country. So I'm just pointing out a few things. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going to be true. But I know how to stay the hell ahead of the fucking trouble. How to stay the hell ahead of the curve. That's my job. For myself. To stay ahead of the problems. To be ahead of the problems, not to be behind them and ass out when all of a sudden another monkey just decides, oh, well, fuck this. We just do this today, too. Ha, ha, ha. We got the Supreme Court in our pocket. Nothing that can be done about it. I mean, you want to go through that again? You want to find out what the next round is going to look like? I mean, go for it. Be my guest. You want to wait for the next round? Be my guest. be my guest. Wait, go ahead and wait if you want. Go ahead and wait. But I tell you this much. Next time you see me in the United States of America, I will be packing. I will be living in a home with a weapon. Not just one. And some goddamn dogs. You do what you want. I'm going to catch up with y'all later. Survival of the fittest, so I hope you survive.
They want war. Crying babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more,